All right. I think I'm live. I see a bunch of stuff over here. People have already been in saying stuff. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I'm looking at the private chat too. Hey everybody. Oh my goodness. All right. Mitchell, you can add me as your mod. Stellar, thank you. I've got Simon, Kim, and Jen on, and I'm an eCam, so I don't know that I can go right from here to add you, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hello, hello. This is so funny because I've been listening to people talk the whole time, and now I'm like, what? I'm gonna have to read what people say? There he is. It's me. Hey, everybody. Okay, you can hear me good. So I am on Ecamm, and then it produces out into the YouTube ethers. I know there's about a 20 to 30-second delay. Um, if you see me leaning in, that's because I'm 55 and I'm looking at the print because it's tiny over here. Oh, I may have to look up, I may have to pull up the other one. So, all right, we're gonna get started in just a moment. It's only a few seconds in, right? Where am I? Yeah, it's only a minute in. I may pull this open so I can see as well, which is my own. I hope you're ready to work because we're gonna do some work in this one. So I highly encourage you to get a pencil and paper, and I'll go over more of this in just a minute. I'm adjusting some things so I can see everything. Do, do, do. All right. All right. All right. So, hi, my name is Mitchell Osborn. First of all, thank you, Jennifer, for all the organization you've done for this. I can only imagine what it's like on the backside. I got to see a little bit of that. Simon, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Again, this is my second year. Last year, I did reading tarot in layers. And it's funny because I went and clicked and I was like, in the last 365 days, it was my second highest watched video. So thank you. And I remember like my I think I had like, I don't know, maybe like something like 1,500 people, and at the end of that I had like 2,000. So it was a wonderful event. I was thrilled to be here. I had a great time. And yeah, and Kim, great one. Let me see. Gonna try not to say blue tits. If you were here earlier, you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying not to comment about being in Will's bedroom. What else? I've been popping in and out. Got to see probably about 70% of them today. So yay, 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 Jen. Um, so yeah, so let me do a quick introduction because it's what like Brian was saying earlier. Yeah, and I had to keep my tongue when he said you can call me BCC because there's I can't tell you what the acronym meant for me. Um, but yes, I hope I'm going to have enough time. That's my goal here. So my name is Mitchell Osborn or Mitch Osborn. I don't care what you call me, but I am a psychic, a medium. I'm a tarot card reader. Tarot, I'm going to say, is my heart. And I love telling this story. Years ago, years ago. So I've been reading and working with tarot since like December of 1999 when my entire life changed. Came out of the closet, you know, books started falling off the shelf, talking to me. I bought my first tarot deck. I remember because I come from a pretty conservative Christian background. Any Nazarenes out there, say, hey, let me know. That's where I came from. My degree is in theater, so I was doing a whole different Mitchell back then, and and so yeah, it was a wild world, but I'll never forget. And I need the tarot world to hold on to their seat from what I'm about to say, because I'm Pollyanna, so I did find a good way of telling this story. Um, I was having a bad day, probably early 2000s, 2001, and of course, you know, in my Christian background, I'm like, what is it? What's the evil? What's after me? And I remember it's the tarot deck. So I remember grabbing the tarot deck and walking down my condo and throwing it in the garbage. Don't hate me. Now, I have since apologized to that deck. Um, it might have been like, I don't even know what it was. I know it was a Rider-Waite form. I've since apologized to that deck, and I've set the intention that somehow that deck made it into someone's hands somehow. And ooh, oh, you can't. So, Lady D, I work for a big Adventist corporation. That's my day job. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Yeah, so I feel you there. So yeah, so I threw a tarot deck away. I know it was awful in a big dumpster. It was a big dumpster. So you found it? Someone found it? so so but the funny thing was is when I started studying my mediumship years ago, and I was going like every week for almost like 3 years, sometimes twice a week. I'm glad I was a strong enough person when my very good mediumship teacher, she said, "Oh, you don't need the cards. They're a crutch for you." And I'm glad that I was strong enough to realize that was her truth and not mine, because the tarot is like my family. Um, I think of every time I open up the deck, it's like I'm opening up a photo album of my family and of where I've been. And I couldn't get away from it. I've probably tried twice to get away, and it calls me back. So I truly, truly love tarot, and I'm thrilled that I'm here. So yeah, my full-time career is in health and fitness. I've been teaching group exercise classes. If anybody knows Les Mills, I've taught almost all the Les Mills. I currently still teach body step. That's my heart. I love that fast tempo, crazy fast music. So I'm a stepper. Thank you, Jane Fonda. But that's my day job, and I'm more of a manager now, but I still get to teach. And then I do this work nights and weekends. Typically, I'm seeing about 5 virtual clients a week, and then probably another 5 to 10. I do email readings via a video, not email, video readings. So you buy a spread on my site, and I deliver it back to you in an email. In a video, and unlisted YouTube videos. That's where I use YouTube the most. I have probably so many unlisted videos. When I clicked on today, I had 300,000 views since April of 2012. So I'm almost at the 10-year mark of being on YouTube. So yeah, so it's been a fun journey being here. If and before I forget, Lavender Moon's coming after me, Amber. I'm going to remember that at the end. Before I do a reading for anybody, and before when I do an email reading, you're going to get what I'm about to do. I'm a big intention setter. I'm a big manifester. I'm a Pisces. I'm a pie baby. If you know what a pie baby is, 3.14. So I love to set the intention and create my path and my journey. And what I'm about to do, like I said, if you sit down with me or you're on a virtual call, no matter what I'm doing, I'm also an animal communicator. That's probably about 40% of my work is working with people, animals alive and crossed over, cats, dogs, and horses. I'm a cat daddy right now. This is the first time in 14 years there's not been a doggy in my house, but we had Sheldon for almost 20 years. My husband had him for almost 19 of those 20 years. So do all that stuff. And here's what I do. So I implore you, I encourage you. Hey, sister, nobody, I see you, Pisces. I encourage you and I implore you to just take a couple deep breaths as I set the intention for us during this time. And I tell everybody you can agree with all of this, part of it, or absolutely none of it. This is what I say to the clients every time I'm sitting with you or when I record a video. And yes, I have it memorized because I've said it so many times. I set the intention, just take some breaths, that during this time we have together, we would have the opportunity to move from false beliefs, ignorance, and illusion into truth with love, kindness, and compassion. I set the intention that we would have the opportunity to receive healing, guidance, confirmation, grounding, centering, balance, peace, harmony, alignment, joy, abundance, love, great care, compassion, health, wellness, safety, courage, and encouragement. I set the intention that we would resonate, operate, and vibrate in the highest frequency of that divine source, that pure white light, love, God, goddess energy that we can. And I call in any and all, I invite any and all of my angels and guides and those we work with on the other side into this time we have together, as long as they stay in high vibration and play nice. All of this for our highest good and greatest growth, I say, and so it is. And so it is. If you want that written out, I've got it. I can click and paste it, or I can send it to you later. But it is something I highly encourage you to create and develop your own kind of intention. It's my prayer. It's my mantra. It's my ritual of getting started. It's letting them know I'm ready to work. If you don't have pencil and paper, I would get one or something to take notes. I am a big talking to my phone person. I once a 25-year-old said I'm more of a millennial than she is, and I took that as a huge compliment. I'm not looking at the what is that called? The chat. There's the millennial. I'm not looking at the chat. So if I'm missing something, I'm sorry. I usually am pretty good about that, but I've got an agenda. So yeah. So I want work on one issue today. I want you to work on one issue today. Some of you are going to be right here with me. You're going to pick that issue. You're going to pull your card. You're going to do your thing. You're going to probably have some shifts and changes. Some of you are going to be kind of half here, half not in the chat, taking care of kids, dogs, cats, whatever. Some of you are going to be like, I'm going to watch this and visit it later. Some of you are going to go, this guy sucks. And I'm good with that. You know what? If I'm not the teacher for you right now, that's okay. So, um, so whatever you choose to do today, that's okay. Just, kind of choose it. But I want you to start thinking about an issue that you want to work on. I like to share what mine might be, and that is, when I did something similar to this in January, it was lose the COVID 19 pounds. And I'm actually only going to have to lose like the COVID 14 pounds because I've already dropped a little bit. Yes, as a fitness person, I've not been able to exercise as much over the last couple of years. So I would encourage you maybe not to pick a big one. This is not to pick like a childhood trauma or something that there's still a lot of stress over, but maybe something a little more simple. You can even, if you have like a deck that you love, but you haven't felt connected to it, maybe you can pick that as an issue. How can I feel more connected to this deck? So I taught a little bit of this in a different form in Reader Studio in 2017. And here's the title I called it. I like to share this because it leads where I'm going. It was called Connecting to the Real, Imagined or Metaphorical World of Tarot Through an Altered State for Guidance, Transformation, and Healing. And that altered state can be a soul state. It can be meditation. I am a transpersonal and clinical hypnotherapist. I have a 500-hour certification in that, which has led me into a beautiful world of mindfulness and also helped me be more conscious when I'm working with clients of how we can drop into something quicker. So some people get a little nervous when I say hypnosis, because I'm not a trained hypnotherapist or anything. If you are, great. If you're not, then just think of this as meditation. Because when we step into meditation, we're all kind of in that beta brain wave right now. And as you become more calm, focus on your breath, or even when you fall asleep, or even when you get to that exit on the highway and you can't remember how you got there, you went from beta down into alpha, which is where some hypnosis can happen. It's where meditation can happen. It's where some changes can happen. And that's what we're going to do. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So this is something we learn. I'm not making you do anything. I'm here suggesting. So this is not about hypnosis, but this is just a very mild altered state of meditation. And we're going to use the cards during that time. So, but as I started planning this, years ago for the presentation, if you know me, you know what my go-to deck is. 95% of my professional readings are Legacy of the Divine Tarot by Tito Marchetti. Right here, I have every single deck he created and multiples of them, especially Legacy, because I'm still with the original deck I got like 10 years ago, but I'm afraid if I ever lose it, it's going to be out of print and I can't find it. So I think I have about 5 up there. I have the mini decks. I have everything because I love that artwork. It speaks loud and clear to me. And it was interesting because I've always said, oh, the images are crisp and clear and they just speak so loud and clear to me. And then one day I went, well, actually Spirit thumped me on the head and said, Chiro is a very loud person. So Chiro, if you don't know him, he expresses his opinions. He is very forthright in what he believes and thinks. And I was like, got it. That makes sense why this deck speaks so loud and clear to me. So when I read the book, Legacy of the Divine Tarot, there was a story in there, as many decks have, or a few of them do. And I felt like as I read the story about where these cards came from, the images, I felt like I was there. I felt like I knew this place. I felt like I'd been there, whether it's part of me, whether it's past life, present life, or future life, because it's very kind of a futuristic looking deck. But I remember reading that. And when you read a lot of times you get in that altered state because you're very relaxed. If you've ever fallen asleep, you went from the beta down to the alpha, and you dropped into your delta, or your theta, then your delta, into a deep sleep. So as I read it, and I thought, gosh, I think it solidified the deck with me even more. And it became part of my family. I felt like I'd been there because I'd been in that kind of altered state of reading this story, having already been working with the images. So I had the images in my mind. So it's kind of like I stepped into that world, and it kind of stuck with me. So I wanted to use that kind of like altered state to kind of connect with the characters, and then also use them in what we're going to do today. So, and interesting, since I taught that in 2017, I remember being on an online group, I think it was WDA, and someone started talking about like spell casting with cards. And I was like, this feels familiar, because I don't do spell casting, magic, or anything. And as I was listening, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the intention setting that I do and use. And then I literally just finished this book, Intentional Tarot, like last night. And I wasn't trying to get it done, but it just happened to get done. And I was like, this is more of what this is, using tarot for intentional work. Because I'll be honest with you, as an actor years ago, I was always like, I can't do improv, give me a script. And then I ended up going into improv. I owned an improv theater for 10 years. And there was like, no, 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 I have to do random. It has to be random. Anytime I was at conferences or something like this, and someone's like, okay, I need you to look through the deck and find a card that represents, I was like, that doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel right to me. But I've since changed, just like I changed, and now I do a lot of improv, which, by the way, this is where I love Spirit. If you ever want to get better at reading tarot, find an improv group and practice that. I truly believe my ability to get out of my own way, to be in the moment, to deal with the structure, which is what improv has, like a spread, which is structure, it really helped me become better at this. I know that I embodied characters like I can embody them on the tarot cards, and it was a powerful tool. So if you ever want to up your game, or you want to try something new, join an improv troupe however you can, or take some classes and see how it will enhance your work. So, and that book, by the way, was Denise Hesselroth, Intentional Tarot. So, the Tarot Magician Theater, another thespian. There's probably a lot of thespians here. So, let me see if there's anything I need to look at real quick. Thank you, Abundant Life Tarot. Yeah, it really is powerful. And at StarCon this past year, I did Tarot Improv. There are a ton of games that you can do, and tarot for team building. So that's a whole nother world. Maybe next year, tarot, somebody remind me and remind Simon, I'll do tarot for improv next year, or improv tarot next year. So Spirit always does that to me. They solidify my relevance for the next time. So thinking of that issue that you want to work on. So, this is somewhere where you don't have to share unless you want to. If you're like me, I'm kind of an open book. What is closed is closed tight, and I never share it. But what's open is pretty much like 90% of who I am. Oh, Denise, my degrees in theater, yay. Um, so I want you to think about that issue. And once again, maybe not pick a big one. Weight loss, I'm going to kind of use it as an example. Maybe, the fear of being a tarot reader, or being called out, or the love spreads. I'm gonna do more love spreads, because let's be honest, Kim, right? That's a cash cow. I've done the sites, and it was like, when's he gonna call me? And if I had my way, I would have said Tuesday. Tuesday next. When's he gonna call me? Tuesday. What Tuesday? Just Tuesday. That's the answer. It's Tuesday. I don't know when. So if you want to find a relationship, or what may be holding you back from a relationship, this is where you've got to craft it. And because we're in a big group, it's kind of hard for me to kind of help you and coach you and guide you on this. So this is why it might be good for you to work through this today, and then come back and do it at a later one. But once you get the practice down, it's quite simple. So I want you to think about the issue. So for me, losing the COVID 14 pounds, I'm going to give myself those 5 pounds I lost. So think about the issue that you want to work on right now, that you want to transform. You might say that you want to transmute, um, and kind of hold it in your mind. And I want you to do something for me if you feel comfortable. I want you to just kind of just allow your chin to drop to your chest. If you can't allow your eyes to close, or just soften your gaze and just bring your awareness to your felt sense. And what that is below the shoulders, above the waistline, to that core center torso part of your body. And as you drop your awareness into that area, I want you to just bring up that issue. So for me, I'll bring up the issue of, losing 14 more pounds. And as I do, if you have a notepad somewhere, you might write down, where you might be feeling it. And if it's not in that felt sense, that's okay. Just see where you might be feeling it. Maybe it has a color. Maybe it has a shape. Maybe it's in one of your chakras. Maybe it's in an organ and you know exactly where it is. And I want you to just allow it to be for just another moment, even though it might be a little uncomfortable. And if at any point it gets too uncomfortable, again, we're in a big group, I set the intention for the highest good and greatest growth. That's why I do that at the beginning, because of the work we're doing. If at any moment you need to pull out of this, you can just put your hand on your belly and rub it in a circular motion, kind of ground yourself back into the physical. And as you are down in that felt sense, thinking of that issue on a scale of 1 being practically nothing, 10 being like, this is awful. Just think about where it is, that feeling of this issue. What are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being hardly anything at all, 10 being something big. And write that number down, because we're going to revisit that at the end. If many of you know TOTE, T-O-T-E, test, operate, test, exit. And that's what we're going to do. We're testing now. We're going to do the operation. We'll test again. And because we're in a group and time may not be with us, we might not be able to do it again, but we'll exit at that point. So I see somebody said, I hope somebody feels better. I hope everything's okay. When I see that, I don't know if it's about this work we're doing or anything, or something different. So just hope someone's kind of checking that. Admins, I hope you're checking that. So go ahead and open your eyes, bring your awareness back, write that number down from 1 to 10, and just let me know. If you want to let me know, you can. If not, you don't have to. Like I said, some of y'all be like, I'm a 10. Some of you are like, I'm not telling him what I am. So the next step of what we're going to do, and for me, I'm a 5 where I am with that. I'm about a 5. And part of it is I allowed it to boil up a little bit. And also, it's probably at a 5 because for the last 4 days, I didn't get to exercise just due to weirdness at work and some other things that I had going on. This morning is the first time I got to exercise since Wednesday, which is unusual for me. I'm pretty much 6 days a week. I keep drifting in and out of sleep. Lori tries life. Don't close your eyes then. Keep them open. Scott Harrison at a 10. Lady D6. I love it. So hold on to those numbers at the end, because I want you to be able to say where you were and where you are. And you know what? Hopefully nothing jumps, but if it does, we'll kind of talk about that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through we're going to do 3 different rounds. And here's the thing. Eventually, I want to show you where we're going to go. And then I'm going to pull this back down. So eventually, we're going to go to old emotion 1, old emotion 2, old emotion 3. The GT is the guide or the transformation card, and the NE is a new emotion. So today, I'm going to have you pick 3. You can do this just with 1. So I just showed you that quickly so you have an idea. So we can just pick 1 emotion, 1 guide, and then 1 new emotion. And that's something you can do with your clients as well. If you get to a place where they feel kind of stuck and you say, let's do some intentional terror before we finish our session, see if we can't move this, transform this out of the way. And a lot of things that are kind of cool is if you've already done a spread and then you start talking about the issue, chances are the cards that are already on the table, there's going to be 1 or 2 or all 3 of them that you're going to use for what's coming up right now. So we're going to choose 3 emotions. So go ahead and drop back into your felt sense. If you want, soften your gaze, drop your chin, close your eyes. And the example I'll use is when I think of losing this 14 pounds, I feel so fill in the blank. and my first word would be defeated. So I'm asking you, when you think of your issue you're working on today, just finish the sentence, I feel so emotion, and put in the emotion. Now, if your emotion is, you know, I feel like, you know, the mother of dragons right before she got stabbed and she died, that's okay. It doesn't have to be an emotion. But I want you to just come up with a word because it really won't make that big a deal. So when I think of my issue, I feel so fill in the blank. Write that word down as your emotion number one. And now let's try it again. Round two. When I think of this issue and maybe the word you just wrote down, like Lady D said, when I think of this issue and maybe the word overwhelmed, because that was her first word, I feel so emotion. Write the second emotion down. So you've got one emotion number one, emotion number two, and then third wave through, take a deep breath. When I think of this issue, I feel so overwhelmed, I feel so heartbroken, and I feel so fill in the third blank. The words repeat, that's okay. If you get the same word 3 times, that's okay. Where we're going is going to be what it's all about. Drained, anxious, heartbroken. So we should have 3 old emotions written down. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go back to emotion 1, emotion 2, and emotion 3. So if you don't have them written down, just use the same emotion over. Now I want to pull out a belief. So I wrote down, I feel so defeated, frustrated, and weak. Now what we're going to do is, when I feel this emotion of feeling defeated, makes me feel like I am a belief. I wrote the word loser. So when I feel the emotion of defeated, it makes me feel like I am a loser. So you write down your first belief using the first emotion. So it becomes this little strand. If it doesn't make sense, type in capital letters, explain again. Then the second belief, using your second emotion. Mine was frustrated. When I'm thinking of this issue, I feel so frustrated and I feel like I am a failure. So that's my belief. Because if I stop and I think, am I really a failure? No, I'm not. But right now I'm working on this old belief because it's attached to this issue that I've got going on. And then finally, third emotion, my third emotion was weak. So when I think of this issue, I feel so weak and I feel like I am old. I'm 55. It makes me feel old. So now I have 1 emotion and 1 belief attached. Number 2 emotion and 2 belief attached. Number 3 emotion, 3 belief attached. And now here comes the fun part, sort of. So you've combined emotion 1 with belief 1. Emotion 2, belief 2, emotion 3. If you have just one, that's okay. Just work off of one kind of row, column and row. So I see the needing, tired, worn out. I had old as my third belief. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Scott. And you know what, Scott, I can't tell by your tiny little icon, but you don't look old. So, but we feel it, right? Whether it's a belief where we are right now. So now here's the fun thing. Now I want you to just think about the number 1, emotion and belief. So I'm thinking about defeated and loser. So when I think about defeated and loser, I'm actually I could just change my mind. I want you to take that first one and I want you to think about the first emotion and belief. And I want you to find a tarot card that represents that emotion and that belief. Now, you may have to scramble through your deck. You can use multiple decks for this practice, or you may just know what the card is because you have your deck that you love in your mind. So for me, when I think of defeated and loser, I think of the devil because it makes me feel kind of like stuck. And I'm going to be honest with you, I just realized something. When you look at this devil and his body, and I'm working about weight loss, how many times am I comparing myself to somebody who looks this lean, So that makes me definitely feel defeated and like a big old loser. So find the tarot card for, you remember the image I was showing you? So we're doing, where's it? Right here. Boom. The old emotion 1, and then we're going to go to old emotion 2 and old emotion and belief 3. So we're going to go to that. Sorry, I keep teasing with that. So if you're moving quickly, find your old emotion 1 and belief, old emotion 2, which for me was frustrated and failure. Yes, I like alliteration. This is frustrated and failure. That's my old emotion number 2, 5 of cups. And then for my old emotion 3 and belief 3, weak and old. The reason I chose this card, even though I love it, it's Pisces, it's Mars, but I kind of feel like I'm this old dog sitting in front of the fireplace, and it's like, I feel like he's just complacent, not really wanting to get up. And it is number 10. He's about ready for a change. So, yes, 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 S.L. Wyman. You may not have been here, but this is my go-to deck. This is my love. This is my treasure. Thank you. Is it Becca? It was Becca, right? Thank you, Becca. This is my treasure. So now you should have a column of the old emotion and belief card, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Has everybody got that? Or at least you know what I'm talking about. Now, what I want you to do is kind of, if you have those cards laying in front of you, I want you to turn them face down because I don't want you looking at them right now, and it's part of the practice. So, and I'm going to pick up speed just a little bit because we're at the halfway mark. So with those cards face down, so you're not seeing those old emotion and old beliefs. If I had a magic wand, dun, 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 and I do, because I'm a magician, what 3, no, I'm sorry, yes. If I had a magic wand, what 3 new emotions would you like to go to? So this is where, not looking at the cards unless you feel you need to, but rather than defeated and a loser, I would like to feel judgment for me as being freed from what's been holding me back. So I put that card down. Rather than feeling frustrated and a failure, oh, I'm getting my order mixed up. I would like to feel like a victor just coming home from battle, 6 of Wands. And rather than feeling weak and old, I want to feel at peace with who I am and where I am right now, 4 of Swords. So if I had a magic wand, what 3 new beliefs and emotions would you like to have? And like I said, you can work off of the words. If you need to, you can flip the card over and work from the card forward. So what 3 new emotions? And this is where this is what you're transforming to. So the magic wand, dun, 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 poof. I give you that. Okay, hope. So D, what would the hope look like to you? I try not to ever say what I think because I love to hear what other people think first. I usually like to ask because I know immediately what I would think of hope, but that may be not what you think of hope. And here's the perfect reason why I try to let, especially when I teach class, I try to let people say things before I say things. One day, this woman pulled this card. Her name was Jen, and she gave me permission years ago to use this. And I said, we pulled a card for the day. How was our day? And she pulled this. I said, oh my gosh, you had a great day. She's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, okay, sorry, explain. She said, well, I'm not sure if I'm the horse or the rider. And this is again 10 years ago. And I went, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. And she then said, I did all the work, gave it to my boss, and he got all the praise. So she was the horse who did all the hard work, and the boss was the rider. For me, that's a treasure. That's a nugget of gold for me. So this is why I try not to say when I'm teaching what I think their card or anything means ahead. So I hope you figured out what hope means for you. Yes, yes. All right, beautiful. So, all right, so you should have 2 columns now. The old emotions, turn them over if you haven't. The new emotions, and you can leave them upward if you want right now. Now, in the middle, I want you to think of, and this is where you can use multiple decks. Yay, hey, V. Kestrel, welcome. So this is where you can use multiple decks because you might want to be able to pull some things up. And also, I want to say this while Spirit dropped it in my head. We're intentionally choosing these cards. I challenge you, because I've done this. I challenge you one day, go back, random, do it, random shuffle and find out. Just see. In my being, that was the hardest thing I did after jumping onto the intentional tarot. But I was like, let me do it. And it was pretty powerful. It was pretty powerful doing this as a random draw. So now the middle column is your guide, your transformation energy, your catalyst. So when I think of, my first one was the devil, and that went with defeated and loser. And this was where I want to go. So what was my guide or transformation or catalyst? The star card, because that's the hope. So I placed that in between the old emotion and the new emotion. And again, let me give you that image. So one OE was the devil, one GT is the star card, and one NE is my judgment. So that is my old emotion, my guide, my transformation energy, my catalyst, and my new emotion. And the reason I have those there, this was very much spirit prompted, because again, I realized we're doing this. I originally was doing this in a room full of people. So if there was issues, there were people around. But now I'm doing this a couple times with different things, different flavors. I did it with doing eye movement therapy, and now doing it just this way. But that guide that is there for your protection, that is someone you know very well. That is someone that is going to help you cross over from and transform the energy, someone you trust. That's what the guide is there for. Some of us feel pretty strong and you're like, I just need a catalyst. I just need, some fuel to put on this fire, and I'm going to transform this energy. So now, and then my middle one, which my middle frustrated failure was the Five of Cups. My guide or transformation was strength, getting me to my Six of Wands. And then my final one, the final old emotion was weak and old, which was the Ten of Cups. My transformation card is the Empress, which is my birth card. And I felt like that fit in well with me. And then, of course, this is the weak and old, but then I transform it into this peaceful, restful state of being, because and here's another reason why I chose this card for me as a new energy, if it doesn't make sense to some of you. At 15 years old, I was morbidly obese. I was the 240-pound fat kid between two skinny athletic brothers. So my entire life, I've struggled with weight. But the beautiful thing is I'm in an industry of health and fitness, which I probably would not have been in if it wasn't for that. And, I have a much better appreciation for that struggle. And it's been part of my life for 33 years now. So it was a powerful card. That's why the Four of Swords. So I can be at mental rest with this, because it's been on my mind since I can remember, being that 105-pound fattest kid in class in like third grade. So we have three columns, everybody. And if you don't have all three columns, if you just have the top row, one OE, one GT, one NE, that's great. Or maybe two rows, or if you got all three, because now we're going to do the work. All right, so set it up in that column right there and turn all the cards face down, and we're about to get into the work. And this is where some of you, if you are kind of checking in and checking out, just listen, pay attention, because we're going to dive into it. So I want you to, if you feel comfortable, let me pull myself over here. If you feel comfortable, I want you to allow your eyes to close down, or at least soften your gaze. Drop into that felt sense below the shoulders, above the waist. And if there are any distractions around you, any noises, any conversations, any lawnmowers outside, Brian, just allow those sounds, those noises, and those distractions to relax you even more. And just bring your awareness to your breath. Follow your breath in, follow your breath out. And if you want, you can place one hand on your belly. And as you follow the rise and fall of your abdominal area, it gives you a little more focus to bring you into this present moment. And I want you to think about the magic wand that I had that I'm going to wave over in just a moment, and we're going to move into this new way of being. And I want you to just take a moment and feel it fully. If you don't remember the cards, you need to look at them real quick. You can flip them over and look at them. It's okay. Those 3 new emotions. And just sit with that just for a moment. And just feel how good that feels. And now I want you to go ahead and right in the center, I want you to flip over the 3 guide cards, that middle column. And as you flip over those 3 guide cards, just take a glance at them with all the other cards still face down. And just connect to those 3 guides, those 3 transformational cards, those 3 cards that are going to be your catalyst. And as you look at them, if you want, placing the hand on your belly, following the rise and fall. If you want to step into the scene of each of those cards, look around, walk around, connect with any people or beings, and maybe just ask them at this moment for their help in your transformation, which may produce some healing. And if your mind wanders off, just bring your awareness back to your belly, following the rise and fall in and out. And now let's step into the work. Flip over that top first one old emotion card. Notice the difference in how it may feel now. And go ahead and flip over the number 1 new emotion. And as you look at that top row of the old emotion, of that guide or transformation card, and your new emotion, just notice the difference. Allow your guide, your helper, that transformative catalyst energy in the middle to kind of move you into that new emotion. And now go ahead and flip over that old emotion and leave all the rest that are already up, flipped up. Move down to number 2, old emotion, and flip over number 2, new emotion. So that middle row are all facing up. Avoid getting hung up on, oh, should I have left this one over or left that one down? It doesn't matter. As we work with that middle row of number 2, old emotion, number 2, guide or transformative card, and number 2, new emotion. Notice the difference in that old emotion, how it feels now. Ask that guide, that transformative card, to move you from that old emotion into the new emotion, that new way of being, that new way of existing. And when you're ready, if you're ready, just flip over that old emotion card once again, leaving over number 2, new emotion, as well as all the guides and transformative cards in the middle. And when you're ready, if you're ready, move to the bottom, number 3, old emotion, and flip number 3, old emotion over. Number 3, guide transformation card. If it's not already turned over, as it should be, flip it over. And then flip over number 3, new emotion. And simply notice the difference, how that 3rd old emotion feels now. Ask your guide, your transformation card, your catalyst, if it can help you move from that old emotion into the new one. And when and if you're ready, Flip over number 3, old emotion, leaving the middle and third row face up. And if your eyes are not open right now, go ahead and open them, looking at that third row, that new way of being, those new emotions. And I ask you right now, are you willing to let go of those old ways, old emotions, old beliefs, and move forward into these new ones with your guide, your transformation, your catalyst cards helping you and assisting you? And whether you are ready to let go or not, it's okay. Perhaps you're ready to let go of all but one of the old emotions, and that's okay as well. Perhaps you can revisit this later. But if you are ready to let go, I want you to just ceremonially or ritually kind of take the 3 old emotions or whichever ones you're comfortable with, and I want you to bring them back and put them back into the old deck and just shuffle them back together. Because we're not getting rid of these cards. We're not getting rid of these old emotions. Those emotions were a part of us. They were there to help us, maybe protect us. Maybe they kept us safe for a long time. And just like the cards, we're putting them back in the deck to be reused in a different way, in a different spread, in a different light, in a different reading. And now, if you feel comfortable, pick up those 3 new emotion cards in your hands, hold them, look at them, feel them. And I'll just say it one more time. And however you answer is totally fine, up to you. Trust your gut. Are you willing to accept these new feelings about yourself? This new way of thinking and believing about who you are? Take a mental snapshot of those 3 cards. Just allow your eyes to close. And I want you to go ahead and take all the cards, stack them back together, put them back in their appropriate decks. Once you've done that, if you can, allow your eyes to close one more time, placing one hand on your belly, following the breath in, following the breath out. In this present moment, take a moment and just whisper a little prayer of gratitude for yourself, for showing up for this work, however you showed up, in whatever depth, capacity, and width. It was what you needed today. You honored that. Take a moment to realize the group of people that are holding this space right here, right now. I see the number 115 of us, all here holding space together in this beautiful moment. Whisper a prayer of gratitude for everybody that showed up today, whether they stayed for a second or the entire day or continue or not. Thank your cards, thank your deck. And whenever you're ready, I want you to start to take some full deep breaths in. And on your next exhalation, I want you to wiggle your toes just a little bit. Remembering the intention we set at the beginning to stay in a place of high vibration for our highest good and our greatest growth. On your next exhalation, wiggle your fingers just a little bit, bring yourself more into awareness, bringing your attention back to your body at the present moment. On the next exhalation, maybe point and flex your ankles, maybe rotate your wrists. On the next inhalation, lift your shoulders up, and as you exhale, set them down and back, sitting up just a little bit taller. And whenever you're ready, if you're ready, just gently allow your eyes to open back up, coming back fully present, aware, grounded, safe in this environment with 118 people right here, right now, holding on to your stuff, releasing anything that's not serving you for your highest good and greatest growth right here, right now. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. For those of you who went on the journey, thank you. Abundant Life. I'm glad it helped. So glad, everybody. Someone said something about my voice, and I, like I said, I lead mindfulness at my day job with corporate partners and people and stuff, and they always like, "Oh, your voice is so smooth." And I'm like, "Really?" But I forget that once I step into that space, I am relaxed, and I know these vocal cords and muscles are relaxed. So I know my voice must change. I need to go back and listen to it and see if it actually sounds different. Book White, you're so welcome. Thank you, thank you. So let me know what questions you have, everybody. Another cool thing, while questions may pop up, something that I've done as well is taking you into a quiet meditation like that, a mindful moment. Flip through your deck, sitting in that quote alpha brainwave state, a little more quiet, a little meditative. You know, if many of you have been around a while, you've probably heard, "Oh, put your tarot deck under your pillow, sleep with it." That's an amazing way to connect. And the dreams I've had have been amazing. But also, my husband had nightmares that night. So I was like, nothing, I didn't have any dreams last night. So you can walk through the deck in a very quiet, meditative state, and that helps as well. So let me know what questions, if anybody had any like not so pleasant moments, please, if you want to share them, you can, or private message me on any of the, I'm a social media whore, so I'm everywhere, even TikTok. You can private message me, say, "Hey, I was on your Tarothon live," just so I know where you're coming from, because I get a lot of weirdos too. And I love weirdos because I feel like I am one. So, Casa Lily Terry, you're welcome. Thank you. Michelle, thank you. Thank you, Scott. I'm glad. Yay. Thank you, Somewhere in Time. Thank you, everybody. Nine of Cups fell out of my deck. It was so settling. Oh, I love it. And I'm a Pisces, so 8, 9, 10 of Cups are my cards. And I'm King of Cups for me is the Pisces card. So I know some people differ on the court cards. So Michelle, I wouldn't say there's a limit. I would say, pick an issue, do the work on that issue. Um, be conscious of the guide tarot. You can use the word protector cards, because if you're going to work individually, I'm sure you have your way of raising your vibration, protection, et cetera, et cetera. Because you're stepping in some stuff, and you could be working on some serious stuff. So, but you could, any issues you have, maybe sit with it a while. You could even leave the 3 cards out, put them in your tarot stand, and leave them propped up, because this is intention setting. I believe this is spell casting. This is manifesting. Thank you, Sister Nobody. Embrace the widow. I do. I am. Wait, and here's the thing. Y'all know, anytime you know what I look like. Anytime I show up at a new tarot group or psychic woo-woo place, I always introduce myself and I say, "Hi, I just want to let you know my name is Mitch." I said, "I'm not a police officer. I'm not a detective or a priest. I'm not a conservative right-wing person. I know what I look like." Um, so I'm just as weird as you. But I also believe I look the way I look. Spirit direct. I signed a contract to look this way because the people that I have been able to reach I still am surprised who comes to me. I'm like, "Are you sure you want," like conservative Christians and stuff like that. And I can speak their language because I've been there. I remember my pastor whipping open the Bible. You got an issue, he would flip through the Bible, and I think it's called bibliomancy. He would boom, pull to a scripture. I'm like, you're divining. I look back on it now and see that. So, Jen, thank you so much. I'm trying to see subscriber. Thank you, Amber. Is it something from that book you mentioned, or is it an exercise? So, Pamela, the book was Theodore Marchetti's Legacy of the Divine Tarot, their companion book. It just had an amazing story about where these objects came from. It was a story about he went into an alternate world and found them. So it's not really about this practice, but it was how I felt during that I think was the thing. Going to work with this more. Thank you, Integrative Healing, and let me know, please let me know how this works out there. Because one of the reasons why I went to become a hypnotherapist was I had so many clients coming back. Kim was talking about this, coming back same time, again and again. Why doesn't he love me? You know, and it's like I wanted to be able to drop into the moment while they're sitting in front of me and find out what the root cause was and transform it. So it really helped give me a practice to do a little bit more of that. Who said I look like an angel? I have to scroll back up. Whoever that was, thank you. Spirit Healing Tarot. I guarantee you I'm not an angel. I will say this, and that's joking, but I will say, if anything, I'm connected to alien energy more than anything. You know, one of my past life regressions, I was on Atlantis gathering up crystals, and I've worked with angels. I just have never felt like they're my family. Aliens, yes, I feel like they're my family. So yeah. Thank you, Roman. Thank you, thank you. Silver fox, yes. I'll take that. It's white, white, white. But yeah, I'll take the silver fox. Ah, the companion deck is called Gateway to the Divine. Yes, thank you, Scott. What do you do now? Is it just leave the intention now or work with it more? Sue, I would sit with it maybe a day or two and let the cards maybe sit on the desk. Because with regards to like hypnosis, sometimes clients come out of that and they're like, "Oh my God, that was amazing! I'm changed." But a lot of times when we've all been to conference and conventions like this, and we're on that high, and we feel great. And then as we start to go back and re-entry into the real world, we see what sticks. So I feel like I think I was Sue. Maybe leave those cards out, or at least pull them back out, take a picture, and sit with them. You know, maybe a day or two or a week more, and see how that feels. Yeah, Donna, I'm a storyteller. That's how I teach, mostly with stories. That's why, like Brian, oh my God, Brian, that was an amazing story. That hit home. Okay, joining, but we'll catch up later. Oh, there you are, Brian. I was speaking your name in vain. So people, I have 3 minutes and I'm just scanning to see what else. Oh, yes. Where are we going next? Let me scroll back up. Was it Lavender? Lavender Moon. Amber is after me. So yes, so that will be it in less than 3 minutes. And like I said, everybody, private message me anywhere. I'm a social media whore. I don't do Snapchat well. That's where I feel like I fail on my millennial part. The app, it doesn't feel intuitive. But TikTok, I'm there doing a daily. Yes, Kay, I'm a John Kabat-Zinn fan. I didn't go through his mindfulness courses because they were 2-year courses. But my mindfulness comes from Sean Fargo, my education and training. But I've read almost all his books. Hello, hello. Yeah, this exercise is mine. Yes, Pamela, I did create this. Thank you, everybody. It's similar to spell casting. It's similar, but like how I did it and where, yeah, it was over a couple of years kind of. I've also done eye movement therapy with the cards. If you've ever done EMDR, I call it eye movement, EMT, eye movement therapy, because that's what we were trained in how we were trained in my hypnosis training, in my hypnotherapy. Thank you, everybody. We're going to be signing off. Simon, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle Ann. Brian, it's a rabbit hole, buddy. It's a rabbit hole. Enjoy it. So, yes, Amber Lavender Moon is next. Less than 2 minutes, people. And I don't know if this just like cuts me off or what, but I think I have to end it. Oh, there's a finish button. So, and if you guys like the way I'm doing this, it's Ecamm, ECAMM. It's an app that you have to purchase and pay a yearly fee, but I can pull up comments. I can do things. It's really kind of a cool one. I know StreamYard does a lot of the same things too. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so Jen just put Amber's link there. There's her link to the next one. Clickety click click. Jonathan, yay! Aloha. All right, it is that time. It is like 1 minute, so you guys can leave me. We're down to 121, so go to Amber. Have fun. I'm gonna be over there for a few moments, but then I got to go to dinner with my husband, and then I'll be back. I'll be back later. Bye, everybody. Thank you for being there. You're not gonna miss out. Go ahead and leave. I give you permission to go because as soon as my clock says 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna say, Amber. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Narayani. Thank you, Narayani. Okay, it is 5 o'clock. All right, namaste, everybody. Until next time, bye bye.